What if I told you that one small flower could quietly change 2 lives forever? Stay with me, because what happens next might restore your faith in Christmas miracles. Snow drifted down like soft confessions over Manhattan's busy streets. Each flake glowed briefly under streetlights before melting into the city's endless motion. December 24th, 11:47 p.m. Most people were already home, wrapped in warmth, surrounded by family and familiar traditions. But Lily Carter was still outside. She stood near the entrance of Grand Central Terminal, her breath puffing into the cold night as she held the last 3 bouquets of white roses she had been trying to sell for 6 long hours. Her fingers, stiff and pink beneath thin gloves, shook as she adjusted the crinkled plastic around the stems. She was 23, with honey-colored hair slipping out from a worn knit cap and eyes as pale as a winter sky. Lily had learned early that surviving meant staying upright when others rested, smiling when tears felt easier. Flowers for Christmas? She called to a hurried businessman, his polished coat flaring as he passed. He never slowed. She was used to that. Invisible. A shadow at the edge of other people's joy. Foster care had taught her that lesson well. 17 homes in 8 years. Each one temporary. Some tried their best. Some didn't. None lasted. At 18, she left the system with a diploma, a duffel bag of donated clothes, and a stubborn belief that quitting was not an option. 5 years later, she lived in a cramped Bronx studio, working 3 jobs just to stay afloat. Selling flowers at night barely paid, but offering beauty, even briefly, made the cold feel bearable. A black Mercedes eased to the curb, its engine humming softly. Through the tinted window, Lily noticed a woman in the back seat. Strong features. Dark hair streaked with silver, pulled back neatly. The woman was looking straight at her. Their eyes met through the glass, and Lily felt something unfamiliar pass between them. Not sympathy. She knew that look well. This was something else. Awareness, perhaps. Interest. The door opened. Evelyn Moore stepped onto the sidewalk, her designer coat untouched by snow, her heels steady on the slick pavement. At 42, she dominated boardrooms, signed deals worth billions, and had built a powerful fintech empire from pure determination. Yet standing there in the cold, facing this young woman with flowers, she felt a quiet crack form in the armor she'd spent years building. How much for all of them? Evelyn asked, her tone calm and precise. All of them? Lily echoed, nodding toward the bouquets. That's $60. Evelyn handed her $100. Keep the rest. As Lily gathered the flowers, Evelyn studied her face. There was strength there. A familiar toughness, but softened by warmth Evelyn no longer recognized in herself. What's your name? She asked, surprising them both. Lily. Lily Carter. Evelyn Moore. Lily's eyes widened slightly. The name was everywhere. Buildings. Magazines. Stories whispered with awe. Thank you, Ms. Moore. These will make someone's Christmas brighter. The words tightened something in Evelyn's chest. When had she last been thanked like that? When had she last done something simply kind? Do you have somewhere to be tonight? The question slipped out. Lily hesitated, then smiled. Yes. Family dinner. The lie was smooth. Practiced. But Evelyn saw through it instantly. Years of negotiations had trained her well. A thought formed. Sudden. Reckless. Completely unlike her. I have an offer for you, Evelyn said, her voice steady. Hear me out first. Lily's grip tightened on the bill. An offer? I'm flying to Aspen tonight. I have a house there. Big. Quiet. And very empty for Christmas. I'll pay you $50,000 to spend 3 days there with me. Just company. Just conversation. Nothing else. The words hung heavy in the air. Unreal. Lily blinked. 50,000? She she repeated. I'll transfer it before we leave. Why? Evelyn watched snow gather on Lily's coat. Because I'm tired of being alone. And because I think you are too. And because sometimes the right choices don't make sense on paper. Lily's thoughts raced. That money could change her life. But this woman was powerful, unfamiliar, overwhelming. I don't know if I can. You can say no, Evelyn said softly. But if you say yes, you'll be safe. Your own room. Your own space. Just two people avoiding a lonely holiday. Snow fell harder now, biting through Lily's coat. She imagined her empty apartment, the quiet, the frozen meal waiting for her. She remembered the way Evelyn had looked at her. And she paused, standing between the life she knew and one impossible choice. Not past her, but straight at her. Really seeing her. Lily took a breath before speaking, steadying her voice even though her chest felt tight. One condition, she said at last. If I feel uncomfortable at any point, I leave. No explanations. No arguments. Evelyn nodded without hesitation. Agreed. I'll have my driver take you home to pack. We leave in 2 hours. As Lily stepped toward the Mercedes, still holding the flowers and the folded bill, a strange certainty settled in her bones. This felt like crossing a line that could not be uncrossed. From the sidewalk, Evelyn watched the car pull away, snow softening the street around her, and wondered if she'd just made the smartest choice of her life or the most reckless. The snowfall erased their footprints almost immediately, wiping away proof of the moment two very different lives had briefly overlapped. Sometimes the riskiest journeys begin in the quietest ways. What waited for Lily in that private jet would challenge everything she believed about trust. The aircraft sliced smoothly through the night, its low hum almost soothing. Warm light filled the cabin, blurring the edges of reality until everything felt unreal. Lily sat stiffly in a leather seat that likely cost more than a year of her rent, trying to understand how her ordinary evening had transformed so completely. Across from her, Evelyn worked on her laptop with calm focus, fingers moving with practiced ease, as if even 30,000 feet in the air was still her office. She'd changed into jeans and a soft sweater, making her seem more human, though no less commanding. You don't have to work, Lily said gently, nodding toward the screen. It's Christmas Eve. Evelyn glanced up, the glow of the cabin reflected in her eyes. Old habits. When you build everything yourself, stopping feels uncomfortable. She closed the laptop and exhaled. But you're right. Tonight should be different. A flight attendant appeared with champagne and small plates arranged like artwork. Lily accepted a glass, holding it carefully with hands shaped by long hours of work. Tell me about the flowers, Evelyn said. How did that start? Lily smiled faintly and took a sip. By accident. I worked at a diner, and the owner's wife had a flower shop next door. She got sick and asked for help selling what she had. I realized I liked it. I was good at it. At understanding what people wanted before they did. And you kept going. 3 years now. I buy the flowers, arrange them, sell them around the city. It doesn't pay much, but Lily paused. It feels meaningful. Flowers show up for the biggest moments. Saying sorry. Saying goodbye. Celebrating something new. Evelyn leaned forward, interest clear on her face. That's a thoughtful way to see it. You sound surprised. I am, Evelyn said honestly. You see business as connection. Lily studied her quietly. And you? How did you build all of this? The question caught Evelyn off guard. Most people ask what I own, not how I got here. I'm not most people. Evelyn smiled slightly. No, you're not. She thought for a moment. I started with a laptop and a maxed-out credit card. I saw problems others ignored and built solutions. One success led to another. Now there are offices everywhere and more money than purpose. There it is, Lily said softly. The part people don't talk about. Evelyn looked at her, surprised again. Somewhere along the way, I stopped caring about why I started. Winning became the goal. And winning can be very lonely. Outside the window, mountains rose beneath a sky full of stars, blanketed in untouched snow. Everything looked new. As the plane descended, Lily spoke again. Why me? Really? You could have chosen anyone. Someone from your world. Evelyn was quiet for a long time. My wife died 4 years ago. Illness. We were together 8 years. She was warm in all the ways I wasn't. She used to joke that I worked better than I felt. Lily swallowed. I'm sorry. After she passed, work became my refuge. I avoided holidays. Especially Christmas. But tonight, watching you smile at people who didn't even notice you, I saw something I lost. Not her face. Her outlook. That belief that people still matter. The plane landed gently, but neither of them moved right away. I need to be clear, Lily said carefully. I can't replace her. I can't fix your life. I'm just me. I know, Evelyn said. That's enough. Outside, cold mountain air wrapped around them as they stepped onto the tarmac. Lily felt the weight of the choice she'd made settling deep inside. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about two people carrying quiet wounds, hoping they might find something familiar in each other. The SUV rolled through streets lined with glowing chalets and perfect holiday scenes. Lily watched it all pass, feeling like a visitor in someone else's story. Having doubts? Evelyn asked. More than a few, Lily admitted. But I'm still here. Why? Lily turned toward her. Toward this woman who ruled conference rooms and built entire industries, yet couldn't solve the quiet ache of being alone. Because you looked at me, Evelyn said softly. Truly looked at me. Do you know how rare that is? The SUV curved into a long private drive, revealing a home that felt less like a house and more like a piece of living art. Glass and steel stretched across the mountainside in bold, impossible lines, as if the structure had grown out of the rock itself. Warm lights spilled from inside, hinting at vast spaces and carefully chosen furniture that probably cost more than Lily earned in a year. As the car stopped, Lily understood that the next 3 days could become the most beautiful Christmas she'd ever known, or the most tangled mistake of her life. Maybe both. What happens when someone who has everything meets someone with nothing left to lose? The answer was already beginning to crack their defenses. Inside, the house felt like a modern cathedral. Ceilings soared upward, fading into shadow. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed snow-covered mountains glowing under moonlight. Everything was flawless, expensive, and strangely cold. Lily stood still, her worn duffel bag looking painfully small against the backdrop of gallery-worthy art and designer furniture. The quiet wasn't comforting. It felt heavy, like the walls themselves were waiting. It's beautiful, Lily said, and it was, even if it felt more like a monument than a home. Evelyn moved through the space with practiced efficiency, explaining features as if presenting a project. The kitchen is stocked. Library upstairs. Theater downstairs. Your room is on the 2nd floor. Private bath. Mountain view. Where do you sleep? Lily asked, then immediately flushed. I just mean so I don't wander by accident. Master suite is on the far end. You won't. Evelyn's tone was neutral, but Lily sensed something careful beneath it. Distance, not discomfort. Protection. As they climbed the stairs, Lily noticed framed photographs along the hall. Most were landscapes, but a few showed Evelyn beside another woman. Petite. Dark-haired. Her smile seemed to warm every picture. That's Sarah, Evelyn said quietly. My wife. The word wife lingered heavily. In the photos, Evelyn looked different. Softer. More open. She was beautiful, Lily said. She was everything. Evelyn stopped at a door. This is your room. I'll be downstairs. The guest room was larger than Lily's entire apartment. A wide bed. A stone fireplace. Windows turning the mountains into living paintings. Lily placed her duffel on the bed and suddenly felt foolish. This wasn't her life. And the money no longer felt simple. She unpacked quickly. A few clothes. Toiletries. A paperback. A small wooden box that held the last thing she owned from her mother. Everything looked fragile here. A gentle knock broke her thoughts. "Come in." Evelyn stepped inside holding a tray with 2 mugs, steam curling upward with the scent of cinnamon. She wore soft pants and an oversized sweater, and without her usual armor, she looked almost fragile. "Hot chocolate," she said. Sarah's recipe. She believed it helped with loneliness. They sat together by the window as silence settled comfortably between them. The drink was rich and warm, sweet with something unexpected. "Cardamom," Evelyn said. "Her secret. You must miss her." Evelyn stared out at the mountains, hands wrapped tightly around the mug. "I miss who I was with her. She made me gentler." "You seem gentle now." "You haven't seen me at work." Evelyn smiled faintly. "Sarah said I had 2 settings. CEO and human. She was the only one who could switch me back." Lily studied her face, seeing grief etched deep into it. What was she like? Bright. Messy. A pediatric nurse. She worked with sick children and still came home dancing in the kitchen. She sang badly, cried at movies, believed in magic. She made me believe too. She sounds incredible. She was. And I failed her. The words fell heavy and still. Lily's chest tightened. "I skipped her last appointment. A major deal came up. She went alone. She found out alone. 6 weeks later, she was gone." Evelyn's voice didn't shake, but her hands did. "She forgave me. I never did." Lily reached across the table and covered Evelyn's hand. The touch startled them both. "You didn't cause her death," Lily said firmly. "Illness did. Regret doesn't equal guilt." Evelyn met her gaze, years of self-blame reflected there. "I chose success over love." "What does that make me?" "Human," Lily said quietly. "Flawed, complicated, human. Just like everyone else." They stayed quiet for a while, their hands still linked, watching snow drift past the wide windows. Eventually, Evelyn spoke. "Why did you really say yes tonight? And please don't say it was only about the money." Lily thought about offering an easy answer, something harmless. But the stillness of the moment made honesty feel unavoidable. "Because I've been unseen my whole life," she said softly. "Growing up in foster care teaches you to shrink yourself, to accept being overlooked. I've spent 23 years being someone people look past. Tonight, you didn't. You actually saw me. That mattered more than $50,000. She exhaled. "And now I'm scared. Because this feels bigger than a deal. It feels like something real, and I don't know how to handle that." Evelyn turned her hand upward, weaving their fingers together. "Neither do I." Outside, snow continued to fall, smoothing the world into quiet perfection. Inside, 2 women sat hand in hand, both unsure of what they were feeling, both unwilling to let go. The fire snapped gently nearby, shadows moving across the walls. For the first time in years, the house felt less hollow. Christmas morning was still hours away, but something between them had already begun to soften, something long frozen finally warming. When daylight came, it would bring truths neither was ready for, and a choice that would change everything. Morning arrived in postcard perfection. Snow floated down in slow, heavy flakes beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows. The mountains glowed pink and gold under the rising sun. Lily woke in a bed softer than anything she'd known, briefly confused by the luxury around her until the memories of the night before settled in. The scent of coffee and something sweet drifted upstairs, along with gentle music playing below. Lily dressed quickly in her best jeans and a green sweater worn thin with time, then headed downstairs. Evelyn was in the kitchen, moving easily among gleaming appliances that looked futuristic. She wore dark jeans and a light cashmere sweater, her hair loose instead of tightly pulled back. The change startled Lily. She looked calmer, lighter. "Good morning," Evelyn said, glancing up from a pan. "I hope you're hungry." The kitchen island was set with china, cloth napkins, and a small bundle of white roses. The same flowers Lily had sold the night before. The thoughtfulness made Lily's chest tighten. "You didn't need to do all this." "I wanted to." Evelyn placed a plate in front of her. Perfect pancakes, fresh berries, real syrup. Sarah believed Christmas should begin with sweetness. They ate quietly as sunlight filled the room. Lily kept glancing at Evelyn, noticing how relaxed she seemed away from deadlines and pressure. "Can I ask something?" Lily said. "Of course. What do you usually do on Christmas?" Evelyn paused. "Work. Meetings. Emails. Anything to avoid the quiet. This is the first one I haven't spent at the office in 4 years." "That sounds lonely." "It is. But it's safe." "Loneliness doesn't surprise you." Evelyn met her gaze. "What about you?" Lily felt her cheeks warm. "I work too. Then I go home, heat something frozen, watch old movies." "That's lonely as well." "Yes, but safe." They shared a look of understanding. "Well," Evelyn said, clearing the plates, "today we do something different. No work. No hiding. Just Christmas." "What does that mean?" Evelyn smiled, uncertain but sincere. "We'll figure it out." They spent the morning exploring. A library lined with books, a theater room, a wine cellar filled with stories Sarah loved. Lily noticed the small things, Evelyn's quiet joy when talking about design, the care in her movements, the tenderness in her voice when Sarah came up. "She believed love mattered more than logic," Evelyn said once. Lily smiled. "Sounds like she was right." Evelyn thought for a moment. Maybe being practical isn't the same as being brave. Later, they sat by the fire as snow continued to fall. Lily curled into the couch, feeling a calm she barely recognized. "I've never had a Christmas like this," she said quietly. Even before everything went wrong, it was never peaceful. Evelyn listened, the firelight reflecting in her eyes, and for the first time, Christmas felt like something shared instead of endured. "How old were you when they died?" 12. New Year's Eve. A car accident. They were driving home from a party. Lily's tone stayed steady, but Evelyn could hear the ache beneath it. "I entered foster care the next day. 6 years of moving from house to house. People tried, but there was never quite space for one more child." "That must have been frightening." "It was. But it also taught me not to rely on anyone. To handle things on my own." Lily looked at her. "I think we're alike in that way. Different stories, same lesson." Evelyn nodded. "We both learned that attachment can hurt." "And yet," Lily said quietly, "here we are." The afternoon drifted by in easy conversation and shared pauses. They talked about books and films, places they hoped to see, the small dreams people usually keep to themselves. Evelyn spoke about the early days of her company, endless hours, and constant pressure. Lily described her vision for a small flower shop, a place for meaningful arrangements and personal moments. "You should do it," Evelyn said. "With what money?" Lily asked gently. "You'll have it after this weekend." Lily hesitated. "The money doesn't feel simple anymore." "Why not?" "Because this feels like more than an agreement. It feels real. And I don't know how to separate the money from what this is becoming." Evelyn took her hand without thinking. "Then don't focus on the money. Think about what you want." "What I want?" Lily smiled faintly. "I want things I never thought I was allowed to want." A place that feels like home. Someone who worries if I get back safely. To matter to someone. The words hung between them. Evelyn felt something give way inside her, a defense finally loosening. I know this is fast, Lily added. I know you're grieving. I know I'm just a stranger. But I can't pretend I don't feel this. Evelyn stared into the fire. I feel it too. And it scares me. Snow continued falling outside. Inside, they sat close, hands intertwined, something delicate beginning to take shape between them. Love doesn't arrive politely. It shows up and asks everything at once. What followed would test whether two wounded hearts could find healing together. Later, sunlight angled through the windows as they sat on opposite ends of the couch with a chessboard between them. Lily was losing badly and didn't mind at all. She was more interested in how Evelyn thought, the quiet focus behind every move. You're not concentrating, Evelyn teased. I'm trying to lose with dignity. Evelyn shifted closer and pointed out a move, guiding Lily's hand. The brief contact sent a jolt through her. She became aware of Evelyn's closeness, her scent, the warmth beside her. Like this? Lily asked softly. Exactly. When Lily looked up, Evelyn was very close. The moment stretched, heavy with hesitation and feeling. I know this is complicated, Evelyn said quietly. I know I'm not ready. What if I don't need perfect? Lily replied. You should walk away. But I won't. Why? Because I'm tired of running. Evelyn closed her eyes, leaning into the truth of it. Then we'll learn together. The kiss that followed was gentle and unsure, more promise than certainty. When they pulled back, Evelyn rested her forehead against Lily's. This is scary, she whispered. Maybe that's not a bad thing. They spent the rest of the day in a careful in-between space, neither distant nor fully defined. They cooked dinner side by side, laughter mixing with concentration, glances lingering longer than necessary. Across the kitchen island, something unspoken passed between them. And for the first time, neither of them felt entirely alone. Lily smiled as they settled down with their plates. You're a good teacher, she said lightly. And you're a good student. You listen. You pick things up fast. Is that what you like? Someone who listens? Evelyn froze for a second, her fork hovering in the air. I don't think I have a type anymore. I haven't thought about that in 4 years. What was Sarah like then? Lily asked carefully. What made you fall for her? Evelyn went quiet, and Lily immediately worried she had crossed a line. But then Evelyn smiled, a soft, genuine smile that changed her whole face. She was chaos, but the good kind. I was tense all the time. Obsessed with control. Work was everything. And she was light. She would bring lunch to my office and refuse to let me work through it. She'd drag me outside, to parks and galleries and crowded street fairs. She reminded me there was more to life than numbers and deadlines. She sounds amazing, Lily said. She was. But she was also. Evelyn hesitated, searching for the right words. She needed looking after. She was kind to a fault. Impulsive. Terrible with money. She'd help strangers before thinking of herself, then call me crying because she couldn't cover rent. I was always the careful one. The planner. The person fixing things. Lily could feel there was something deeper there. Sometimes, Evelyn continued evenly, I didn't know if she loved me, or what I represented. Stability. Safety. Someone to catch her when things fell apart. I never knew if I was her partner or her backup plan. Her voice stayed calm, but the old pain was easy to hear. With you, I don't feel like that. I feel like myself. Like the person I was before I learned that love always comes with rules. After dinner, they moved back into the living room. The fire sent soft shadows across the walls. Lily leaned into Evelyn, resting her head against her shoulder. For the first time in years, Evelyn felt calm settle in her chest. "Can I ask you something?" Lily murmured. "Of course. What happens after tomorrow? When we go back to New York? Back to real life?" Evelyn's fingers stilled in Lily's hair. It was the question they had been avoiding all along. "I don't know," she said honestly. "I want to say we'll make it work. But our lives are so different. My world is meetings and formal dinners and charity events. Yours is people. Real moments. I don't know how to connect those worlds." "Maybe you don't have to connect them," Lily said. "Maybe you just choose which one matters more." "It's not that easy," Evelyn replied. Lily sat up and looked at her. "You have more than enough. You could step back. Delegate. Make room for something else." "And do what?" Evelyn asked quietly. "I've been running this company for 15 years. It's my identity." "No," Lily said gently. "It's your job. You are the woman who makes perfect pancakes. The woman who knows every story behind every bottle of wine. The woman who notices a stranger selling flowers and stops because something feels familiar." Evelyn stared into the fire, silent for a long time. "You make it sound simple." "Maybe it is," Lily said. "Maybe we just complicate it because we're scared." "And if I choose wrong," Evelyn said slowly, "if I give up everything and this doesn't last?" Lily felt her chest tighten. "Is that really how you see this? Like a calculation? Like I'm a risk?" She stood, needing space. "You're measuring love like a business deal. What's the return on happiness, Evelyn?" "Please," Evelyn said, standing too. "You can't treat feelings like numbers," Lily said. "You can't manage love the way you manage money." Evelyn reached for her. "You're right. I'm sorry. I don't know how to want something without breaking it down first." "Then don't think," Lily said, stepping closer, tears bright in her eyes. "Just tell me what you feel when you look at me." "I'm scared," Evelyn whispered. "But I feel hopeful. Alive. In a way I forgot was possible." "Then that's enough," Lily said softly. "That's where we start." Evelyn pulled her into an embrace, holding her tightly. "I don't want to hurt you." "Then don't," Lily replied. They stood together in front of the fire. Two women who had spent years building walls, now facing the risk of letting someone in. Outside, snow kept falling. Tomorrow felt both near and impossibly distant. Some choices change everything. What Evelyn would learn in the morning would force her to face the difference between loving someone and truly seeing them. Lily woke up alone. The space beside her was cold, the sheets smooth except for a faint mark where Evelyn must have sat sometime before dawn. They had fallen asleep together after hours of talking and careful closeness. Now, as pale morning light filled the room, that old familiar sense of being left behind crept into Lily's chest. She found Evelyn in the kitchen, already dressed in a sharp white blouse and tailored pants. Her hair was pulled back, neat and controlled. She was on the phone, voice clipped and distant. "I don't care what the Tokyo market is doing, Richard. The deal closes Monday or it doesn't close at all." Her back was straight, her presence commanding. "No, I won't be available this weekend." "Handle it." She ended the call and turned around. When she saw Lily standing there in pajamas and bare feet, looking unsure and small, something in her expression softened. "Good morning," Evelyn said, but there was a coolness in her voice that hadn't been there before. "Already working?" Lily asked, forcing a small smile. "Crisis overseas," Evelyn replied. "A deal in Tokyo is close to falling apart." She moved toward the coffee machine with sharp, practiced movements. "I've arranged for the plane to take us back to New York this afternoon. I know we planned 3 days, but things have changed." The words landed hard. Things have changed. A rival company is trying to interfere. If I don't handle this myself, I could lose something I've been building for 6 months. "I see," Lily said softly, hugging her arms around herself as the warmth of the kitchen suddenly vanished. Work comes first. It's not like that, Evelyn said quickly. Is it not? Lily's voice stayed calm, but something firm ran beneath it. Last night you talked about choosing a life. I guess you already have. Evelyn set her mug down a little too hard. This is what I was worried about. You don't understand the pressure I'm under. The responsibility. I can't abandon everything because we had a pleasant weekend. Pleasant? Lily repeated, the word sour on her tongue. Is that all it was to you? You know it wasn't, Evelyn said. Do I? Because right now it feels like you've put your armor back on. The woman I spent the last 2 days with is gone, and the executive is standing here instead. Evelyn's jaw tightened. I never stopped being that person. This is my life. I tried to explain how different our worlds are. No, Lily said, stepping closer. You tried to convince yourself they couldn't meet. There's a difference. Her eyes shone with hurt. You're afraid. Last night mattered, and that scares you. So you're running back to what feels safe. Work doesn't ask you to open up. Deals don't need trust. Contracts don't break your heart. That's unfair, Evelyn snapped. Is it? Lily said. You did this before. You chose work over Sarah when she needed you. And now you're doing it again. Evelyn went completely still. Don't say her name like that. I'm not attacking you. I'm pointing out a pattern. You say you loved her, but when it came down to it, you chose meetings over showing up. This feels exactly the same. It's not, Evelyn insisted. Then explain how it's different, Lily said, her voice breaking. You're choosing control over connection. Safety over risk. Being alone over being hurt. Evelyn finally lost control, her words sharp and loud. People always leave. They die, or they walk away, or they decide you're not worth staying for. At least work is honest. It never pretends to love you back. The silence afterward felt heavy and final. Lily looked at her, really looked at her, and understood the depth of the fear behind the power. You're right, she said quietly. People do leave. But sometimes they leave because they're pushed away. Which do you think this is? Evelyn turned her face aside. I'll have my driver take you home. The money will be transferred today. Don't, Lily said firmly. Keep it. I don't want payment for this. She headed toward the stairs, then stopped. The worst part is that I believed you. When you said you felt something, I believed it. I thought someone might finally choose me. But you can't choose what you don't believe in. She packed quickly, hands trembling, tears blurring her vision. When she came back down with her bag, Evelyn was waiting by the door, composed and distant. The car is ready, Evelyn said. Good. They stood there, suspended in a moment neither wanted to end. Lily, Evelyn said softly. This weekend meant something. You mean something. Just not enough, Lily replied gently. It's okay. I understand. I've always been almost enough. The words cut deep, and Evelyn flinched. That's not true. Then why aren't you stopping me? Lily asked. Letting me walk away tells me everything I need to know. The driver appeared, and Lily picked up her bag. Goodbye, Evelyn. I hope your deal works out. She stepped into the cold morning air without looking back. As the car pulled away, Lily watched the mountains fade, taking the fragile hope with them. Inside the house, Evelyn stood alone, the silence closing in. She had everything she thought she wanted. Control. Stability. Safety. So why did it feel like she had lost something irreplaceable? Her phone buzzed with another call from Tokyo. For the first time in 15 years, she didn't answer. She sank onto the couch where Lily had once sat beside her and let herself cry as the snow outside erased every trace that Lily had ever been there. 6 months can change everything, or nothing at all. What followed would prove that some stories refuse to end, no matter how firmly we try to close them. 6 months later, Manhattan buzzed with the restless optimism of late spring. The city had shrugged off winter, trading heavy coats for lighter steps and open-air conversations. Trees along Central Park bloomed into vivid green, and the sidewalks pulsed with people rediscovering warmth. Lily Carter stood behind the counter of Bloom, the flower shop she'd opened 3 months earlier in the village. The space was small, barely more than a narrow storefront, but it was hers. Every bouquet reflected her taste. Every handwritten sign carried her touch. She'd built it with her savings, a modest business loan, and the money she'd earned from a magazine piece about an unexpected holiday with a powerful stranger. The article had been softened, romanticized, carefully vague. No names. No real truths. Just enough story to sell. Just enough money to begin. "Lily, we're short on white roses for the Morrison wedding," Jake called from the back. He was an NYU theater student who worked between auditions, bringing dramatic flair and creative ideas to the shop. "Already handled," Lily said, checking her order list. The Morrison wedding was her biggest job yet. A high-profile event. If it went well, her name would travel fast in the right circles. The bell above the door chimed. Lily looked up and saw a woman in an elegant suit browsing near the window. Something about her posture tugged at Lily's chest, a familiar echo she still hadn't learned to ignore. "Can I help you find something?" Lily asked, stepping around the counter. The woman turned, and Lily froze. It wasn't Evelyn. But it was close enough to hurt. "Miss Carter," Patricia Chen said calmly. "I wasn't sure you'd remember me." "Of course I do," Lily said. "How did you find me?" "The article. It was beautifully written. Very careful." Patricia's smile carried quiet understanding. "Ms. Moore doesn't know I'm here." Lily felt the name like a tight pull in her chest. "How is she?" "Successful. Relentless. Miserable." Patricia stepped closer. She closed the Tokyo deal. Biggest merger of her career. The board adores her. Good for her. She hasn't been the same since Colorado. Still sharp, still feared, but something's missing. Like the color drained out. Lily rearranged a vase of tulips to steady her hands. "Why are you telling me this? I've worked for her 8 years. I saw what grief did to her. And I saw what came back to life because of you." Patricia paused. Now she's alone again. Completely. That was her choice. Was it? Patricia asked gently. Or was it fear pretending to be reason? She pulled out her phone. "She's being honored tonight. Businesswoman of the Year. Big gala at the plaza. She'll go alone. She always does now." Patricia set a sleek business card on the counter. "Just a name. Just a number. I'm not asking you to do anything," she said. "I just think some people need to be reminded of who they almost were." Then she left. Lily stared at the card long after the door closed. She pictured Evelyn in a ballroom full of applause and empty smiles. She remembered pancakes, chess games, quiet laughter, and the way Evelyn once looked at her like she mattered. The bell chimed again. Mrs. Rodriguez needed flowers for her granddaughter's celebration. Lily slipped the card into her pocket and did her job, but her thoughts drifted to chandeliers and silk gowns and a woman who had forgotten how to want more. That night, walking home, Lily passed the plaza without meaning to. The hotel glowed with excess and elegance. Through the tall windows, she caught glimpses of a glittering event. She stood there longer than she meant to, wondering if Evelyn was inside, performing success while feeling hollow. At last, she turned away. Some stories, she told herself, were finished. But as the subway carried her home beneath the city, Patricia's words lingered. Sometimes people need to be reminded. In her apartment, Lily cooked dinner and reviewed wedding notes, but her eyes kept drifting to her laptop. She didn't search. Not yet. Some doors were dangerous to reopen. Across the city, 3 blocks from Central Park, Evelyn Moore sat alone in her penthouse office. She still wore the gown from the gala. The Crystal Award rested on her desk, catching the city's glow. She had been flawless. Celebrated. Untouchable. And unbearably empty. On her screen was an article about a small flower shop making waves in Manhattan. The owner spoke about beauty, about meaning, about showing up for life's most important moments. Evelyn stared at the photo longer than she meant to, her chest tight with something she had never learned how to name. Evelyn had read the article more times than she could count. She picked up her phone, then set it down again. What could she possibly say? How do you apologize for letting fear win over something real? How do you explain that achievements feel hollow when there's no one to share them with? Outside her windows, the city sparkled, alive and full of possibilities. Inside her perfect apartment, surrounded by her perfect life, Evelyn Moore had never felt more alone. The award on her desk reflected the lights again, and she thought of everything it represented: years of work, late nights, the respect she had earned, the fear she had inspired, the things she thought she wanted. And yet, without someone to care about, none of it mattered. She picked up her phone once more, scrolling to a contact she'd never deleted, staring at Lily's name. Then she set it down, slowly. Some opportunities, once missed, couldn't be reclaimed. But in that pause between reaching out and stepping back, Evelyn Moore finally started to see the difference between being accomplished and being truly alive. For the first time in 6 months, she wondered if it might not be too late to make a different choice. The heart doesn't follow logic or pride. It follows its own timing. And sometimes, it refuses to let a story end. The Morrison wedding was everything Lily had dreamed of and more. The bride, a New York socialite with impeccable taste and a limitless budget, had entrusted Lily with every detail, and the results were breathtaking. Cascading white roses hung from crystal chandeliers, delicate clouds of baby's breath floated through the air, and every hand-tied bouquet overflowed with the scent of garden roses. Lily stood at the back of the grand ballroom, the same Plaza Hotel where Evelyn had received her award just weeks before, and watched the bride and groom exchange vows surrounded by her work. The ceremony was being photographed for Vogue, and already, 3 wedding planners had approached her about future collaborations. A woman in an elegant navy dress appeared at her side. "Lily Carter? I'm Amanda Westfield, Metropolitan Weddings. Your work is stunning. One of my clients is planning a December wedding, very high profile, unlimited budget. Would you be interested?" Lily took the business card, her hands shaking slightly. 6 months ago, she had been selling flowers on street corners. Now, she was being noticed by New York's top wedding planners. "I'd love to discuss it," she said, forcing confidence into her voice. "Wonderful," Amanda replied, studying her face. "You look familiar, have we met?" "I don't think so," Lily said. "No matter," Amanda said with a smile. "Your work speaks for itself." She melted back into the crowd, leaving Lily alone with her racing thoughts. As the ceremony ended and guests moved toward the cocktail reception, Lily began transforming the space. She delicately adjusted centerpieces, moved floral arrangements, and prepared for dinner service. She was straightening a centerpiece when a familiar voice broke through her focus. "Excuse me, are you the florist?" Lily turned and froze. Evelyn Moore stood a few feet away, elegant in a charcoal gray dress that highlighted her cheekbones and made her green eyes glow. Her hair fell in soft waves around her shoulders, not pulled back as Lily remembered. For a moment, the noise around them faded as they simply looked at each other, 6 months of silence and regret stretched between them. "Evelyn," Lily whispered. "Lily," Evelyn replied, her voice controlled but not without emotion. "Your work, it's extraordinary." "Thank you," Lily said, clasping her hands behind her back to hide the tremor. "What are you doing here?" "The bride is my goddaughter, Rebecca Morrison, Rebecca Chen now. Her mother and I went to business school together." Evelyn paused, searching for the words. "I didn't realize you were the florist until I saw your name in the program. But I stayed." I couldn't leave after seeing what you created here. She gestured to the transformed ballroom. This is what you dreamed about, isn't it? Your own business, bringing beauty to people's most important moments. Lily felt tears prick her eyes. You remember that? I remember everything, Evelyn admitted before she could stop herself, raw and honest. They stood in the bustling reception, surrounded by laughter and celebration, the weight of all their unsaid words pressing down. Lily, Evelyn began, then stopped as Jake appeared at her side. Sorry to interrupt, but we need you in the kitchen, issue with the cake table arrangements. Of course, Lily said, glancing back at Evelyn. Go handle it. Lily followed Jake toward the kitchen, her heart pounding, leaving Evelyn among the flowers. The rest of the evening passed in a blur. Lily threw herself into work, moving with precision, yet her senses were on high alert. Every time she glanced toward the crowd, her eyes sought the charcoal gray silk, hoping to catch a glimpse of Evelyn. When the reception began to wind down and she started packing the last arrangements, she found her again, standing by the windows overlooking Central Park, a glass of champagne untouched, staring at the city lights. Lily approached slowly. Penny, your thoughts, she said softly. Evelyn turned, and Lily was struck by how tired she looked, polished, successful, yet exhausted in a way that went beyond the physical. I was thinking how different everything looks from up here, Evelyn said. All those lights, all those lives, from this distance, it seems controllable. But it's not. She set down her champagne glass and faced Lily fully. I owe you an apology. Several, actually. Evelyn, please, let me hear it, Lily said. Evelyn's hands trembled slightly. I was wrong. Scared. Cowardly. I hurt you because I couldn't admit what we had was real. Lily's chest tightened. It was real. The most real she had felt in years, and she had walked away out of fear. Evelyn laughed, but there was no humor in it. The irony of it all, losing it anyway, losing Lily anyway. You didn't lose me, Lily said quietly. You pushed me away. I know, Evelyn admitted, voice barely audible. And I've regretted it every single day. She stepped closer, close enough for Lily to smell her perfume, to see the flecks of gold in her green eyes. I've thought about calling you 1,000 times. I've driven past your shop. I've read every article about your business, she shook her head. I've been pathetic. You've been scared. I've been stupid. There's a difference. Evelyn reached toward Lily's face, then let her hand drop. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect a second chance. I just needed you to know, you were right about everything. I chose fear over love, and it's been the worst mistake of my life. Lily stared at her, the woman who commanded boardrooms and closed billion-dollar deals, now standing vulnerable, finally admitting what they'd both known all along. What are you saying, Evelyn? I'm saying I love you. I'm saying I should have fought for you, for us. Every success over the past 6 months has felt empty because I had no one to share it with. I was wrong. I'm sorry. And if there's any chance at all, that you might let me try again, I will spend the rest of my life proving that you matter more than any deal, any merger, any amount of money. The words hung between them, honest, desperate, exactly what Lily had dreamed of hearing for 6 months. Evelyn, Lily whispered. I know it's too late. I know I don't deserve. She didn't finish. Instead, she kissed her. Soft. Tentative. Tasting of champagne and possibility. When they pulled apart, both women were crying. It's not too late, Lily said, forehead resting against Evelyn's. It's never too late if you mean it. I mean it. God, Lily. I mean every word. Around them, the reception carried on, laughter, dancing, celebration. But in their small corner by the windows, 2 women held each other, remembering the power of choosing hope over fear. So, what happens now? Lily asked. Now we figure it out, Evelyn said. No more running. No more choosing work over what matters. Just us. If you'll have me. I'll have you, Lily said, smiling through tears. All of you. The CEO and the woman who makes perfect pancakes. Even the parts terrified of messing this up again. Especially those parts. They kissed again. Longer this time. Sealing a promise that had been 6 months in the making. Outside, Manhattan sparkled like a field of stars. Full of possibility. Full of second chances. Love refusing to be buried. A church bell chimed midnight, marking the end of one day and the start of another. For Evelyn Moore and Lily Carter, it felt like the beginning of everything. 1 year later, snow fell softly over Bloom's new, larger Soho location. Lily's business had grown, and she'd started a wedding planning company with Amanda Westfield. Evelyn sat at the small desk in the back office, laptop open, but her attention was on Lily, arranging flowers for a couple celebrating 50 years of marriage. She'd stepped back from daily operations at her company, moving into a chairman role that gave her space to build a life outside boardrooms. What do you think? Lily asked, holding up the arrangement: white roses, eucalyptus, and baby's breath. Simple. Elegant. Perfect, Evelyn said. And she wasn't just talking about the flowers. You say that about everything I make. Because it's true. You see beauty in things most people overlook. Lily smiled, the same smile that had once stopped Evelyn on a snowy Manhattan street corner. Then, reaching into her pocket, she pulled out a small velvet box. I have something for you. Evelyn's breath caught. Before you say anything, let me explain, Lily said, stepping closer, the box trembling. I know we've talked about marriage, about making this official. I know you're still learning to trust this is real. But I also know I love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life showing it. She opened the box to reveal a simple platinum band, set with a single flawless diamond. Lily Carter, Evelyn whispered, tears streaming. Evelyn Moore, will you marry me? The answer was a kiss that tasted like forever, like second chances, Christmas mornings, and all the love they had nearly thrown away. Yes, Evelyn whispered back. Yes. 1,000 times yes. As Evelyn slid the ring onto her finger, she thought of the woman she'd been a year ago, successful, but empty. Powerful, but alone. Convinced love was a luxury she couldn't afford. Now, surrounded by flowers and the woman who had taught her the value of seeing beauty and treasuring it, she finally understood. Love wasn't a risk. It was a gift. Outside, the snow fell, blanketing the city in white. Inside Bloom, 2 women held each other, planning a future full of flowers, laughter, and a love that transformed everything it touched. The girl who once sold flowers and the CEO who had forgotten how to feel had found their way back to each other. And sometimes, the most beautiful stories begin with the simplest words: flowers for Christmas.